Night Callers Radio.
Night Callers, Bigfoot Radio.
Good evening and welcome to Night Callers Bigfoot Radio. It's April 22nd, 2020, and you're here with your hosts, Lauren Smith and Dustin Clark. How you doing tonight, Dustin?
I'm doing pretty good. How are you doing, Lauren?
I'm doing fabulous. I am home with my kiddos now and quarantining and living life. I'm pretty excited about it. I'm not going to lie. How are you doing? It's every day for you, huh?
Yeah, every day for me. Today got spiced up a little bit because woke up and somebody had ran over my mailbox. So I had to go and get a new one. And since it rained all day, I
fill it
wasn't
with
able to work on it. But yeah, no, I've got a pretty thick steel pipe that I'm going to put down into it, and I'm going to concrete the hell out of it. So next time, it's going to hurt their vehicle a little bit more. Hopefully it'll just stop it in the tracks or just rip a whole finger off.
Yeah.
That's my goal.
I hope so. Yeah, no kidding. I feel like you should put, like, wood around the pipe so they think it's, like, a wood holding it up, and then when they hit it, they'll be really excited and surprised because it's going to trash their vehicle. I didn't know people still did that. Like, well, I hate that it happens, but also I'm kind of proud because I didn't think kids were that resourceful. You know, if it doesn't involve technology, I didn't know they knew how to do that.
No, they didn't hit it with a baseball bat. They hit it with a car. I'm giving them the benefit of the doubt because part of the tire tracks, it looks like they tried to stop, and I live on a gravel road, and I think they were probably coming down the road a little too fast, and it was roughly, I'm guessing, when all the thunderstorms were coming through last night, and I think they might have just lost control or couldn't see the road and tried to stop, and it was just too late. Because there was a spot to where, or a couple of spots where it looked like they were trying to stop, but they were just going too fast. So, but they'll regret it next time.
All right. Well, any Bigfoot-related news in your world?
Yes. Part of our guest tonight is part of the news. My group, a couple of the guys went out to our area where we've been finding tracks for the last 3 years and ended up finding 6 more tracks of the 16-inch Bigfoot that we've been getting tracks of the last 3 years. Only 3 of them were testable, but those 3 were pretty nice ones. So that's the only news I got. Do you have any good Bigfoot news?
No. No. Or no. I really don't. I have seriously just been quarantining in my house. I haven't been doing anything else. So, no. But
yeah,
our guest tonight, like Dustin says, has a ton of stuff to talk about with us. So let's go ahead and bring him on. How are you doing tonight, Michael Waldie?
Hey, y'all. I'm doing good.
Hey. That's good.
I'm doing good.
Good deal. We are glad to have you on tonight. We're looking forward to a great show. I went ahead and scheduled it 90 minutes because I know you like to talk, which means you're going to prove me wrong and not say anything probably this entire show. But
more than likely,
so
we need 30 seconds into it and you're laughing at me.
We're not laughing at you. We're laughing at your little fan group over here in my office with me.
Oh.
Okay, Adam, stop.
Adam.
Oh, that one. So, Adam is Michael Waldie's biggest fan. They hung out together at the Falcon Monster camp out, and I think that Adam is such a big fan of Michael Waldie because Michael Waldie's a big kid himself, so...
Oh, wait.
So, yeah. Anyway, so we first met Michael Waldie back in, when was that? November? Does that sound right?
Honobi, Oklahoma.
October?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it was. Okay, yeah. So we met Michael. Well, he didn't really talk to me then. I think he was scared of me, so I didn't really get to talk to him much, you know. I can be intimidating. I know, Michael. It's okay. We did.
What are you talking about? Yep. We went out to Boston.
Yeah.
Mhm. Yeah, I do remember that.
You did talk. You was like scared of the empty well.
Oh my gosh! Honestly, it's an empty well in the middle of the woods, and Michael Waldie kept saying stuff about something crawling out the well. Listen.
The ring girl.
It was yeah. It was terrifying. Anyways, and then we did our group call. Y'all did the group call. It was amazing. Called up a coyote and an owl. It was awesome. Yeah.
And the elk.
So we first met Michael then, and we have been on quite a few outings with Michael now, and we just really enjoy researching with him. Michael is our tech guy. He comes up with these amazing combinations of his tech and uses them in the field, and he's really using that to further the Bigfoot research through that avenue. And so we'll be getting into that tonight. First and foremost, Michael, let's just go ahead and what got you started on this topic?
The Bigfoot topic. Actually, back
fishing.
When you used to surf the web, you didn't just get on and Google stuff, you surfed the web. So that's what got me, got Bigfoot in my vocabulary. The Texas Bigfoot Research Center sightings map. And I just happened to be just like running around on there, clicking on. There wasn't that much back then. And I just noticed that there was an area I was looking in East Texas, and it was smack in the middle of two incidents I had. One was in 91 in a little town called Kaysen, and the other one was in 95. It was like 6 miles over as a crow flies. And right in the middle of them on 259 was a sighting back around that area. But that's what got me into the research. You want to hear about them?
Yes.
Oh, yeah?
Well, it didn't take long to go to sleep, did it? Bored that fast.
Listen, you promised me you were going to come on and talk about bass fishing, and here you are talking about Bigfoot. Like, threw me for a loop, man.
Well, it'll get to bass fishing.
Oh, okay. All right.
Well,
All right. I'm on the edge of my seat.
Yeah. So, hey, I ranching, farming, stuff like that. I've been around, wildlife, and I'm all right out in the woods, and but I do like to be scared. And we happen to be out in the woods in Dangerfield. That was in 95 or 94. And I had convinced everybody that let's go do the nature walk with no flashlights. It had no moon out. And when we got to the trailhead, I said, if you hear crunching, you're off the path. If you don't hear a crunch, you're on the path. Because you couldn't see your hand in front of your face. And we was probably a mile around in it, and then I noticed that there was this crunching, and I brought it to everybody's attention, and everybody, when we, stopped, it took 2 more steps. And, of course, that's got everybody, kind of freaked out a little bit. And, because of the fact that it stopped and was, quiet. And we went through this process and did this 3 times, and 3 times this thing took 2 more steps. In my mind, I'm thinking there's an old pervert out there hearing these girls scream. So I was going to run them off, and I just run in that direction probably about 10 feet because I didn't want to hit a tree. And I stopped because whatever this was, when it took off, you can't see my hands right now, but there's, fast motion. And, it tore up. It wasn't little stuff like brush being pushed over. You heard, big tree cracks when it took off. And I wrote that up as I didn't know what that was, to be, PG. I didn't know what that was. And now, back 4 years earlier in 91, I'm going backwards. It just got to be that way. So back in 91, I was in Caisson. And we'd been building fence and deer hunting. And I sat there at the edge of the tree line. We sat there at a campfire, and we just sleep in a lawn chair. It was pretty rugged. And it was, I don't know, late at night, midnight. And I heard a vocalization that I thought sounded, I compared it to what the Incredible Hulk sounds like. And it had to sound off for probably one big holler for maybe 6 or 7 seconds, somewhere around there. And it was, you could tell whatever it was had lungs, had torso. It was big. Mind you, Bigfoot is not in my vocabulary. I don't know what this is. I even asked him after it finished, and it took a couple of seconds for me to ask. I was like, what is that? And the guy that was there was 8 years my senior. He didn't know what it was. And about an hour later, we hear something coming through the woods, and we've got the mag light shined on it, and he's got the rifle. It's getting so loud, and he starts shaking really bad. He can't even hold the rifle still. I told him, I said, man, hold that gun still. He said, I can't keep my knees from shaking, and hands me the rifle. So it turned out to be an armadillo rooting around. But still, the vocalization, it put him in that mode. Are y'all still there?
Yeah. Mm-hmm. We're listening.
Okay. Just checking. Is there a delay?
No?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. So that's the thing about this live show that people don't understand is that there is a delay. So whenever I start talking, you don't know that I've started talking yet. You start talking, we end up running all over each other. That's why that happens. But a lot of people don't understand that's the one crappy thing about having a live show is we do interrupt each other. It's not on purpose. It's not because we're trying to be rude. There is a lag. So continue.
And just for all you out there, I got that answer for you.
Yes. Thank you, Michael Waldie. You've done your job. Have a great night, sir. Bye. I'm just kidding.
You can put that song on repeat for 80 minutes. So
pretty much.
Yeah, so that's what got me into it. Well, the sightings map. Because them 2 incidents, mind you, I knew it wasn't nothing that fit anything that I knew, and nor the guy that was with me. It was just one of them moments that you just write up as what the hell. And, yeah, it was in 2004. I seen that Craig Wool Eater, Luke Gross group, that was crazy. Oh, Luke Gross, was he in, I think Luke Gross was at Texas Bigfoot Research Conference. That's what I think he was. I don't know if he was on that research center. But either way, that was it. And, yeah, armchair research, I'm sure, like a lot of do. And I think it was probably 2009 when I started getting into the field. And back then, there wasn't much there wasn't much of a community, but there was a whole lot of hoaxing that was, seems to be all over everything. And it kind of scared me away from getting involved with the community. It was, back in the Rick Dyer and, Tom Biscardi, they were making a lot of noise. And so I just did my own thing. Not involved with the community is not very smart either, because you learn a lot from the community. And I just stomped around LaFleur County. Didn't matter where I was. I always went to LaFleur County. And I had everything happen there, from rock clack to, tree knocks and the walking around your tent, all the great stuff that, comes with squatching. Next question.
Really? Go ahead, Dustin. I know you have questions.
Well, I was going to hit the hard-hitting questions real quick. What do you think Bigfoot is, Michael?
And I think it's just another primate surviving in the woods. I mean, I don't think it close. I don't think it, is anything paranormal. I think it's just life, bud, real living, breathing, in its own element with its own intelligence out there. I think that's what it is.
And why do you research? Do you do it for yourself? Do you do it for get the topic out there, try to prove it?
Well, I think there's two kinds, and I've anybody that knows me has heard me say it. I think there's two kinds of people out here in the community. There's the heart. Well, actually three, but I won't mention the third. And there's the hardcore data collectors, and then the extreme hobbyists. And I'm more or less on the extreme hobbyist side. It's like bass fishing. We want to get out here and collect some trophies, something to show when we go to these conferences, and show each other, not necessarily up on stage, but just like we do, we share. So that's what I'm doing. I'm out for the fear. It's like going to Six Flags without the seatbelt.
Okay, that's a good answer. So how has your opinion of what they are, has your opinion changed from when you started this research to now? Has your opinion changed on what you think they are or why you're doing this?
My opinion, honestly, hasn't changed. My opinion is it's still been the same all the way from the beginning, but here's where it's difficult. You need to keep it the same, Once you start going down all these other avenues, but no, my opinion's not changing. It'll stay just, I know, Dustin, you go deer hunting. Since you started deer hunting, has that deer changed any to you? It's been elusive.
No, they haven't changed at all.
But how, okay, let's say, yeah. So you feel like, they're just another primate in the woods, a flesh and blood creature doing their thing. Having a face-to-face sighting, do you feel that might change your opinion of them, your respect level? Do you think it might make you fear them? I guess it just depends if it's an aggressive sighting or not, but that's what I meant by, would it change?
Well, I think now we're going to start, inching into the next subject. But, yes, I think that it might change. I'm pretty sure it's going to change my outlook on how I go about things, because I tend to push the envelope, hoping for that kind of encounter. I hope it's not aggressive. And matter of fact, I'd love to picture it as being an interactive encounter. But as any of y'all, I'm pretty sure that I've been doing the solo night hikes. I love the heck out of that. It's the fear levels. It's right there at the top. You can feel your heart pounding when you're out there by yourself, and and you're hiking. Actually, aggressive areas. I know it's going to probably change. I hope that I picture in my mind that I can maintain a level of cool. But there's no telling. I never had my Class A.
Yeah. You said it's going to take us into the next topic. Do you want to lead us into the next topic?
Chartreuse spinnerbait.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, that was for William.
You and that chartreuse.
No.
I'm so proud of you for knowing what that is. I really am. You and Steven. That is just amazing to me. Because if not, I have another question from a listener. So.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
Well.
So, all right. Listen, Michael. Shh.
Linda.
I'll do that for Mary. Michael Waldie. Time for the adults to talk. Hold on. All right. So our listener wants to know, what is Michael's most successful research tool? Now, having asked that, I know it's going to change tomorrow because that's how you are. You find a new research tool every day that you like. But what is your favorite research tool to date to use?
Well, actually, I'm really stuck right now because do I have a problem?
Yeah.
I guess I do. It's that many different stuff all the time, isn't it?
A little bit, but that's okay. That's why we love you. You have tech ADD really bad. It's like he will Marco us and be like, hey, I got this awesome recorder, and the next day he's like, I sold that recorder and I have this awesome camera, and we're like, what? Yeah, so.
Is this a podcast or a support group?
It's a roast. It's a roast, Michael. You signed up for this.
Okay. Maybe you're better off quiet. Okay.
Anyways, what is your favorite research tool to date?
My favorite would have to be the audio recorder. It's the least expensive and most effective. And I typically, would like to drop in multiple locations, just, never the same area twice, and, just kind of get a feel for the areas. But now I'm trying to make it where I concentrate one area and, just give it 24-hour surveillance, audio surveillance. And there's another, element to this, and that's the fact that I am coming down and coming into the area so repeatedly that if anything is out there, which, we all feel eyes in the woods. In this particular, area I've been doing this in here lately, you almost start your, like breathing exercise as you're coming through the gates at night. And that's just doing the audio swap. I could do it in the daytime. That's no fun. So I think that I'm trying to make whatever's out there familiar with me, desensitized, and then do, some night hikes while I'm out and around through there. So hopefully something, you never know, may want to make an appearance. And I know it's done some funny stuff with my audio recorder, allegedly. There's just been some crazy stuff going on.
What are some of the things that have happened with your audio since you've been doing the drops?
Well, with the aside, when I started concentrating on one area, nothing ever happened to my audio recorders when I dropped them around all over the place. But when I started repeatedly dropping the audio in one spot, and I'm real mindful of who's around and which there never is. And as a matter of fact, I had taken Bigfoot Mary down to Stalker's Draw just to show her how, if anybody was around, I would know it, because it's down there, it's squatchy, it's spooky, and well, it's everything you want in a squatch area. So anyhow, so what I'd had happen is I started taking my recorder to an area that had this draw that came in. There's like two little fields, but this draw came in through the middle of it toward the road. And in my mind, I thought, well, this is a shortcut. Instead of going all the way down and following the deep woods around, if you wanted a shortcut, you could follow this draw, cross over that road, and into the woods on the other side. And I started, sticking my recorder in there. And as I did, I get hogs, I get, grazing, I get, a little bit of everything going on there. Not really anything Bigfoot related, just, the natural wildlife. And, but there was, the incidents with the recorder started happening, and I mean the recorder itself, which that was another thing. I took Bigfoot Mary down in the draw to show her how I had this recorder, placed that, it's close to the bottom where hogs would be, running around in there, but they couldn't get to my recorder. So, and the reason I'm trying to paint a picture is because I had come down in there, and I was doing, a little live stream, and I just going in, doing the audio swap, just a little small entertainment for somebody sitting on the couch, and I'm doing this every night anyhow. So, and the night that I came in there, and I went to grab my recorder, and it was smashed down, flat, but not like, muddy. It was smashed into the dirt, uncovered, and that recorder never worked again, and these are really durable recorders. So, all right, really, really suspect of what's going on here. Don't know, but that was unusual. And mind you, this is nobody's. I'm not saying this place doesn't get it, occasional person or something, but usually not in this spot, and definitely not where I put my recorder. Now, let's fast forward a little bit. I've been doing the recordings and not getting anything yet out of there. Just the coyotes with the locator calls and hearing the barred owls. But so here it comes. I'm doing a live stream on a few nights later, not real far later, just a few nights later. So the attention has now been, I guess something knows my recorders are what, I don't know. I'm not going to say it was a squatch or what, but this is just the chain of events. So I hike down in there, and I'm on live stream, and I get over there, and I get to where I put that recorder at, and it is gone, nowhere. I've always hidden my recorders. I sit them at the base of a tree, prop them up at an angle, and I throw a lot of leaves on them. And this was no leaves, it was gone. And just gone. Now, that's upsetting, because that's actually my third recorder. So I've got to now stop my audio recording. And at this point, I had recorded that particular area for close to, I think I was around 60 days, right around nonstop, but about 4 months worth of recording down there in that one area. And now this area has a long history. It has a guy that came up missing the year before, just walking up. There's a railroad track cutting through him. He went to cut across the field, and the girlfriend didn't want to cut across. She went up to the crossroads, went over to the house, and he never made it. They looked for 6 weeks, gone. And, I doesn't tie it to, Bigfoot. I'm just saying that right there is some of the history to the area. Now, as far as Squatch related go, there's been bluff charge, rock thrown, ushered out, and these are researchers we all know. But this is some people with, solid intel, people I trust with, their encounters. So this area is a really it goes on for maybe 3 miles worth of bottoms and river bottoms and little tributaries. So now I had decided that I got me a new recorder, and I had taken it down there, and when I had pulled up this was before the one come up missing, because I was doing the swaps then. I got my story. I got the major part of it out of timeline. Yes. So I'd pulled up when I got So when I got up when I had originally called this place Stalker's Jaw, okay, that was when I still had the 2 recorders. But how it got the name was I had pulled up, and this is I'm having a light shine on this subject right now. This is probably when something figured out I had a recorder there, because I had pulled up there, and before I had killed the truck, I heard something moving in that draw between me and my truck. And at the same time, in front of me to the right, which is a row of trees between the railroad tracks and where I'm at. And I had, just figured it was hogs or what have you, but still, to be safe, I called Bigfoot Mary and told her, hey, you should hear back from me in probably about 5 minutes. I said, something is moving between me and my recorder. And so I got off the phone with her, and I get out of the truck, do my little, state the date and time, and I walk in there, and I swap the recorder out, go back, get the truck, and drive about 300 yards to my U-turn and come back out slow, and I'm shining my light, to that tree line by the railroad, seeing if anything's moving around that way, and then on my way out. When I go back and I pick up that recorder and do a swap again, and I reviewed that audio, it told a different story. So when I reviewed that audio, I had killed my truck, and, everything went quiet. That recorder showed it just went quiet. And, I had walked down in there, dropped the recorder, covered it up, got back in my truck, and the second I get in my truck and shut the door, it starts moving, and not just a little bit for about 10 seconds. And then when I drive down and do my turnaround, it had been quiet the whole time. And when I'm coming back, it did a scramble, and you hear it run. I mean, like a bipedal action, and it was big impact, like boom, 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 and it stopped right by my recorder. That's where, when I reviewed that audio, I started calling it Stalker's Jaw. That, as I said, it shined a light on it. That was when the recorder started getting messed with. Right after that. Is that a question?
No, that was your little light bulb moment. I'm so proud of you.
Did y'all see the light?
I smell smoke from here, but we have another question from the chat. She wants to know, do you gift at the recorder location, or do you do any calls before you leave?
Yes, I gift. I gave them 2 recorders.
Well, I mean, the junk pile is, I feel like you couldn't, another piece of trash might be a gift. Actually, I will say Michael actually cleans up his locations. He takes a bag of trash out with him. So if that's a gift, I would consider that a gift. You cleaning up, the trash that humans leave behind. So.
Well, actually, that was at a different location. That was a cemetery. I tried to come in from a different way, and it was a cemetery from the 1800s, and I just seen it was dirty and felt like, I should, I had a bag on me, just for camping. So I got out and just picked up, a couple trash bags. Cleaned all the trash out of it. Hey, good deed.
Aww,
they got a shelf.
You're such a softie.
They got a shelf life. One day you'll find yourself stranded and think, damn, it's been a while. The trash pile, that had a lot of stuff going on too. But,
Go ahead.
once again, they're just weird vocalizations, low light growls or the thrashing around, but the weirdest one I think out of and I say junk pile, from Stalker's Draw, it's probably 400 yards away, but still the same area, right, close to the railroad tracks, and the freakiest, recording to date was when I had that recorder hidden behind a tree full of briars that I couldn't even see the recorder. I reached my hand behind that tree, leaning in with one arm to be able to get it. It's that hidden. And it was probably, I don't know why it is, but the best stuff on my recorder is between like 3 and 4 a.m. And but just out of nowhere, all of a sudden you hear this on my recorder. It's like, what? And it was like 20 seconds later you hear this, oh. And that, it's nothing big, but that was still kind of, little freaky.
That's terrifying.
Makes you want to go hiking, doesn't it?
No.
It did me.
No, it doesn't at all, actually. Without giving away your research area, where's the most active research area that you've researched?
I'm going to have to say LaFleur County.
Really?
Yeah, LaFleur County, Oklahoma.
And why?
I had spent most of my, the years before when there was a level of getting to where I am by, and it is not safe to be out there just hiking by yourself at all, and I know this, but I don't know if it's a Gemini in me or, what, but I started, back then, I wasn't that great at it. Stuff made me freeze and freak out, and I wasn't educated as far as research goes, and I'd get a tree knock and I didn't think nothing of it. I thought everybody got that stuff. Rock clacks. I was like, well, it's not close enough. I'd get in the truck and drive a little closer. I guess I thought I was going to drive up or walk up on my siding, by doing tree knocks and rock clacks. But no matter what, every weekend something happened in LaFleur County, and I've had them wait till you go to bed and then walking around your tent. Didn't see them, sure felt like it was something other than armadillo. But LaFleur County was always good. Loved it. Plenty of them old fire lanes to, you spend a whole night running fire lanes.
Mhm.
Good deal.
That was a big delay.
Do you think there is more or less activity during the full moon, or have you noticed more or less activity during any other phase?
Well, I think that the full moon, and I know this because I used to hunt coyotes. If there was a half moon of bear, I was out hunting coyotes on the ranch. And I mean, almost for 10 years, I don't think I missed a full moon for sure hunting coyotes. And, but I do know that when you've got a good amount of moon, it doesn't have to be a full moon. If you got a good enough amount of moon out there that wildlife can see, the ecosystem is at work all the way down. Everything's out there. It's noisy. The ambient sound is loud. So yeah, I think that the activity is there, but it's harder to tell because of that. Everything's out. The ambient noise, the crickets, everything's just so loud. But on that new moon, when you can't see your hand in front of your face, I think that's when we get a little more, stuff that we notice. You catch the vocalizations from further away. Your voice travels further away. So, whether the wind drowns you out, on other nights when it's new moon, and I should say less than a 5-mile-an-hour wind, that's ideal. You can't. I mean, that's like heading out to the lake on glass. That's when you go squatching with a new moon, less than a 5-mile-an-hour wind. That's your glass.
Well, now that we're on to fishing again, no, I'm just kidding. Just kidding. So you mentioned the coyotes and the Bigfoot. Do you think that coyotes and Bigfoot vocalize together intentionally? Because I don't know about you, but I've just heard so many recordings and live have heard them vocalize together.
I have, and during my time that I spent in LaFleur County and not involved with the community, I wasn't, how do you say? I guess booger smart, squat smart. I just knew from armchair research, kind of basics, and I did know when I was out there that I ranched some of the biggest ranches and ran them, and I'm familiar with these coyotes and stuff. And I did notice and it happens to be the closer to Mena or Arkansas, in LaFleur County, just right there closer to the border, that there was a air raid vocal that was always there, and whenever it went off, and for a long time I just kept trying to find that one vocal, and but that air raid vocal always set off the coyotes. Then yes, I really that one was real to me. Since then, I haven't heard the air raid so much as I just hear locator calls it, but that's not what I heard over in that particular area. But then locator calls, can a lot of people identify them as, they think it's a squatch call, but before them coyotes start all their yipping and stuff like that, there'll be that one lone holler, and that's the one that gets misidentified sometimes. But yeah, I think that I don't know if they run, buddies or not. I bet you they scavenge. I can see that maybe, but I don't correlate the two. I think they're interesting to hear when you're out there at night because nothing else is going on. I think that Bigfoot just hunts alone.
True. Okay. Even though you have not had a Class A sighting. What leads you to believe that they exist?
I did back in one of my night hikes, and I was closer to Tallahena. Matter of fact, I'll tell you, I was in Tallahena State Park, and I had you started using GPS, handheld GPS, because I was finding myself at night just walking. I wasn't following trails. I was just randomly following cricks and cracks and stuff in the woods, and then I would be like, can't find my way back to the truck. So I started using the handheld GPS, and that was the first place I used it. And I had gotten off, and it was a full moon. And now whenever I went to LaFleur County, I always made sure that the winds were 5 miles an hour or less, just for the fact that that wind coming through them trees any faster than that sound like a jet. So that takes away from a good weekend, having that wind. So I got out there and was hiking, and there was nothing I could say that was above 5 miles an hour. I don't remember, but I do remember hiking and seeing a huge shadow in my peripheral, not direct vision, moving. And when I turned to look that way, it never moved again. And I didn't breathe either. And this is where I was still green at doing this night hike stuff, and still that fear is overwhelming. But I froze. I couldn't breathe, and I didn't even blink because something over this way moved, and it locked me on it. And I stuck there for a little bit. And the me now would have investigated. The me then was making sure nothing was there so I can get out of here. But, yeah, back to what makes me believe, the Patterson-Gimlin film. And, by the way, I stand with Bob. And the stuff, the markers that can, just like I said, the air raid vocalization, and I know this is what got me into it was the things that I said that happened in 91 and 95 were so tremendous that right there belonged to something that we don't have. I mean, I couldn't picture anything with the deep, I mean, the Incredible Hulk sound. And that's just something I didn't point out. That vocalization, it sounded like Incredible Hulk had to be over a mile away. And, I mean, it just carried. And it left our camp quiet, me and the other guy. And he's not scared of nothing. He's the one shaking gun later, just scared to death. But, yeah, so that and what tore up them trees that night in Dangerfield, that wasn't nothing normal. Man, that broke big stuff. That right there, the only thing that could possibly be, doing either one of them would be the folklore of Bigfoot. I mean, there's just nothing else that could have been. And as my research started going, then, all these little markers that, just like everybody shoots for, the wood knots, the rock clacks, all that stuff was happening. And I was in some pretty remote areas. Can't guarantee I was getting a person there, but I was getting responses.
I got a quick question. What do you think about wood knocks? Because I know, we've got that area down at Bison, which is in LaFleur County, and you can walk through the woods for a while, and you can try to pick up every single either deadfall or any branch off of the ground and try to do a wood knock, and half the time it just obliterates the wood because that doesn't make a good knocking sound. Do you think that Bigfoot carry around a particular stick that they find that does good wood knocks, or you think it might be a possibility that it could be them beating their chest like a gorilla?
You know, that funny you should say that. I have thought about that, the beating the chest, you know, maybe but me and old Bigfoot Mary, we was out, you know, just hiking around this past weekend, and she had picked up a makeshift hiking stick, and I said, you know, I bet your old Bigfoot's got him a big old hiking stick, and that's possibly what he's even using to knock with. That's why he always has a stick and ready to knock. He's got a walking stick. Okay, but it's weird. You know, I think when you are in the woods, and maybe you don't get one of them, you know, if they're out in pairs or what have you, I think that's whenever you do a knock, I think that first one gets misinterpreted as, you know, the other primate coming through the woods. They're thinking that maybe they're communicating and you got mixed in there and they thought it was the other one. I think that's when you get a response after that. It shuts up. You know, oops, damn it, I put the wrong one. But that's what I think they're just like locators, herders, you know. It is weird though. I mean, to have that knock, especially how fast whenever it happens sometimes. You know, when you hit that knock and it's like they were watching you and ready to swing and do a knock back.
Right. That's what I was wondering, because, I mean, unless they're carrying a stick around all the time, I wonder if there's, you know, because I've heard the videos of gorillas beating on their chest, but, I mean, I wonder if it's possible that, you know, Bigfoot, the wood knocks we hear are actually them, like, just slapping their chest once and making that sound or something to that effect.
Definitely using stuff at their disposal. I mean, just like the Sierra Sound. That's, you know, you hear them in there just banging like, you know, and you can almost picture them as you know, how happy chimpanzees and all that jumping around and banging on them. You can just see that interaction going on, and they're banging on the rocks over there. I don't know. It's tough to say how they got a stick out of, you know, that soft pine wood.
Right. And I meant to ask you earlier, how long were you doing your audio drop, like consistently?
Consistently.
Well, like, were you doing it like consistently for a week, 2 weeks, a month?
Oh, well, I did it. I was doing it probably once a week, and then but that was when I was jumping around, and then I started getting piled up with audio that, you know, I started getting lazy. I was recording but not reviewing here lately, and but this area here is when I started focusing on trying to get their 24-hour surveillance. And I did that at the beginning of the year up until I think it was when did we do the camp out?
Last weekend of February.
Last weekend of February. That was when I first missed a day, but it was for this year, and but before that it was I don't know, 2-3 times a week, and then before that it was probably once a week for a long time. A little bit of everywhere then. I wasn't focusing on one area, and it has, you know, been a little bit. I want to say that there's been some kind of vague interaction going on with this audio stuff, because of what's happening to the recorders. not so much as what's happening on the recorder. Well, besides Stalker's draw audio. But, you know, I had decided when the one came up missing and was gone, well, bad squatch, I'm going to move to a different location because, yes, I gifted that one, I guess. And I went about 500 yards away, and there's a little lake that, you know, it comes off a little tributary, turns into a lake before, you know, it goes back into a tributary and into the river. I started doing my audio drops down there. I believe I was on a live stream doing an audio swap, and that was like the second night there, and I had the camera fixed as I was setting it up, and I didn't know everybody else could hear it, but I was like, I heard it pop. You heard a big tree knock, and I looked and I said that was a knock. And when I got to see the comments, everybody heard the knock as well. So I had been, you know, maybe located there. Subjective. I don't know what's watching me, especially when I was coming down in there and walking around on the live stream. And Mary does her little magic with, you know, pictures and does color inversions and finds a mass that was sitting there like, and I didn't even see it. I thought these were, because the spider's eyes were reflecting everywhere, and there's like a mass there, and I'm like, nah, it's Bob Squatch. And then when you look at it, the mass is blocking out the trees behind it, and then when she found another picture of the same area, there's no mass there. So something has, you know, was watching in that area. And now during one of these recorder swaps, I had decided I went to go get the recorder, and somebody had parked down there, but I still got to do my recorder. I don't want to get out of rhythm. So I just grabbed my recorder, but I didn't want them to see me leave it, so I drove to a different spot to go drop it. And it was an old tree. It had been pushed down years ago on the side of this little road in the same area, but it's out of sight, out of mind, and up a hill and around a turn from where that was in that car that night. And they were just parked listening to the radio. And I had taken this recorder, and I'm probably about, I'm going to say 250 yards maybe away from where down the hill was. And I get up there and I take this recorder, and I've got it now where it hangs and it's got a little camouflage, you know, case. And I go to this big old tree that's knocked down, and I hang this recorder on the back side of that root ball, you know, so it's out of sight, out of mind. Because if people wanted to go down and fish, they can drop down there, and it's like an off-road trail to get to it, and a steep climb. You could even get stuck. I mean, there's times I got a 4-wheel drive and I didn't go down there. But so it doesn't get, you know, traffic. I'd say out of since August, I've seen people there like 3 times. So it doesn't get no traffic. And the next night I came and I was looking, and I think I was live streaming. I was looking all over for my audio, and I couldn't find it. I thought I was on the phone. I couldn't find it nowhere. I thought, damn, it's gone again. I checked behind. There's several trees on there from years ago. A dozer pushed against the side, you know, to make a road down. And it's not there. And I get over to the back side of the root balls, gone. Go to get my truck to fix and leave, and that damn recorder was actually hanging in plain sight about a foot away from where I had hung it. Just hanging on a root in plain sight. You know, I mean, just weird stuff happening with recorders. But apparently, consistency down there has maybe got me noticed, or maybe got something messing with me. Like, jokingly.
Maybe that's how it chooses to interact. I mean, I'd take that over being roared at.
I'd rather be roared at.
Yeah.
You would. Okay, can we kill me? Can we get back to the technology? I was promised there would be technology.
Well, I got my router going. I got a little portable router.
Oh, cool. So tell us about that.
Okay. Well, it's a lot lighter, remember, than what we had before, Dustin. It's no longer 50 pounds.
Oh, it's not?
No, and it's got it's got a little surge protection on it, and I use a little mini power, like a deer feeder battery, and I've got a little portable router now. Now there's a reason I needed a portable router, and it's 4G portable router, so it's Verizon. It's one of them unlimited, unthrottled plans, so that way I can live stream. But the problem is the trees. When you get into the woods, the foliage will block your signal. And man, if my phone had an antenna, I think it would help. I grabbed this router because it's got antennas, but that's just a small part of what the big picture is. I've got now encoders where it'll bond up to 4 providers at the same time to make one solid signal. Is yet to still be put in play, but as far as the technology, I know what you're talking about, is the thermal goggles.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
I've been waiting this entire time. I'm on the edge of my seat. I haven't fallen asleep once.
Oh, did you have that playing on there? Is that on the slideshow?
No, it wouldn't let me upload the video.
Oh no. Yeah.
Oh no.
Yeah, it's really it's high resolution. I for a 640 resolution on a thermal is kind of like 1080. It's and it's got a 30 hertz refresh rate. What it is it's a thermal camera mounted to a bicycle helmet, and I've got a battery on it with a reducer, and the signal goes through a transmitter, and the transmitter transmits the signal to goggles. So basically what it is thermal goggles so you can hike in full thermal vision. Now you can't navigate trails, obstacles, but you can navigate flatland, trails, something that, you ain't got obstacles you'll trip over. And it's, both of y'all have worn it. And, so you could just give me your review.
Well, I'll give my review first because I wore it longer than Dustin. So the fit felt good. It was really light. It didn't feel like I had something heavy on my head, and my neck didn't get sore or anything like that. I tried it with the goggles. I think I would have to try it in a setting, probably, a more stable setting, not a rocky area like I was in. Once I got it on my head and was looking at not the goggles, but the actual screen in my hand, that was a lot better. And then after a while, I actually forgot I was wearing it, until I started running into branches and then realized that I had a lot of money on my head. And then I got very nervous, and I was very well aware of what was on my head. I actually told Mary that if I fell to my death, to please use my insurance money to pay Michael Waldie back. But it was actually really cool. So at one point, everybody had walked down the road, and I was using it, and I hid behind a tree and kind of peeked out at the group, and Michael, I think, was the one that had the screen. Yeah, he had the screen. Oh, yeah, and you have the video of it, and I peeked around the tree like a Bigfoot would to look down at them on the road, and he saw it on the screen and saw me looking at him. It was pretty cool.
Yeah, well, to fix that gap of what's going on, the helmet is basically a transmitter. The goggles are receiver. There is a handheld or anything that runs on a 5.8 megahertz can receive this signal. They just got to be on the right channel. So we had a portable monitor that was, we was able to pass around it with each other. So when she was hiding up in the trees, I had the monitor, and I was down the mountainside on the path, and we could look at the monitor and try to decipher where she was because where she was looking. Because she was definitely looking at us. I just had to figure out which tree because it was total blackout. So, yeah, the helmet will it'll transmit. You can actually get it transmit pretty far, but even on a low budget, you could transmit maybe 300 yards to a base camp if somebody wanted to hike around, or if a group was hiking around and there's some at base that didn't want to, or somebody could just be walking with you and hold the monitor. Did you get to wear the goggles up there at the Fout camp, Dustin?
Not at Fout. No, I wore them when we were out at Last Chance.
Oh, yeah. And it's kind of like riding a three-wheeler at the first time. You get that little equilibrium because you want to grab something. Once you trust that the camera is center of yourself, that's no problem. You just, you don't try to do things with your hands. You just trust it's right there center of you, and you just walk in. I mean, because it's not quite a 1-to-1 ratio with your eyes, but it's close. So there is a little odd effect, but what it is basically getting you're using one eye and no depth perception, because people with one eye don't have a depth perception. So, yeah, that is the goggle effect. And now there's a whole lot of stuff you could do with that particular flare. And what it is, it's a Flare View Pro 640 30 hertz with a 13 millimeter lens. And it's like 11 millimeter is what would be, your eyesight, but I didn't want to go to 9, and I didn't want to go to 19 because that's just way off. But this same thing, I don't know if y'all remember. Was y'all at the cabin at Honubby? Did you get to go to the cabin?
Nope.
Oh, okay. I had this set up. I think there's a picture in the slideshow, isn't there?
Yes, I posted 2 pictures of that.
Okay. Well, the flare is actually, I took a wall mount for a flat screen, and I ratchet strapped it to one of the trees at the cabin during the Honubby Festival. We was over in the Kaimichi Mountains. We, all went in on a cabin, and we had that flare set up on a tripod, staring down the mountainside while we sat out there on the deck with the 55-inch screen, just seeing all thermal image down the mountainside, which was kind of a crazy event there in the cabin. We thought it was acorns falling out of the tree, but it turned out to be rocks. And when we first got up there, it was like, there's rocks up here. So me and Logan got up there. We cleaned that rock, that cabin roof completely off. We had, Stephen Hill was there, William Lunsford, and Paul Ragsdale, and Logan Kraft, and Bigfoot Mary Boland. And Brian Hewlin came out, and Renee Woods. But that was crazy. So we're out there just enjoying the image and having a good conference weekend, and during the night you kept hearing. Now, mind you, we'd clean the roof. We kept hearing these acorns fall. When these acorns hit that metal roof on that cabin, you would hear them hit and then do that roll, 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 roll off the roof. But then every once in a while you hear this hit that it went roll, 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 roll. So then you hear this. Every once in a while you hear one that would hit louder, and it would go tunk, 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 tunk. And it's like, we even made jokes going, yeah, we're down here on this end searching, and Bigfoot's down there trying to get our attention with the rocks on the other end. You know, it's all fun and games until we got up there on the roof and found 13 rocks up there on the roof we had already cleaned off. Oh, I didn't send that picture, did I, of all the rocks? It was a big delay. No, I don't think I did. It would have had a rich.
I don't think you did either.
So.
Nope. Okay.
But yeah.
Okay. Well, we have about 20 minutes left, 19 minutes left. I want to talk about the tracks.
That's the grand finale. I thought, okay. Yeah.
It is the grand finale. We're there. Showtime. Let's go.
All right. So this is this is the big thing. Everything, you know, is the whole community thing is, you know, there is the ones that it seems to be the, you know, the flyby, you know, researchers that, you know, they really don't know the circle that's in the community. There's the trolls, the haters, and all that stuff, but that circle in the community is like family. And, you know, Brian Hewlin put on and Renee put on the Love for Tanya fundraiser, and we all raised money, and that was a good feeling. Even though, you know, she didn't know about it until later, but she ain't nothing but happy tears or presenting tears at all. And so then the SBA guys, Southern Bigfoot Alliance guys, put on a benefit auction immediately following this, you know, to raise some more money. And it was of items that were donated. And these guys donated, the Southern Bigfoot Alliance donated a 20-inch original track from the secret Squatch Creek area they'd been researching. So this 20-inch track is like getting bid up. And I'll tell you who. It was Paul Ragsdale and Stephen Hill. They bid this track all the way up to $200. Crazy. I mean, and Paul ended up winning that bid. And I'm like, that's just nuts. And I'm in this back room I had just cleaned out, setting it up, making me a squatch room, you know. And Stephen Hill calls me and he says, yeah. And he said, Paul won that cast. And I was like, wow. I said, because I even commented that after $100, I was pretty sure their wives didn't know. And Stephen goes, well, me and Paul had already talked, and he said that me and him had decided that we was going to run it up to $200, and we were going to split it and give you that cast. And I was like, man, are you serious? That kind of that's crazy, you know. So that's, you know, I can't even begin to say how cool that was to be getting, you know, the cast that was kind of the envy of the auction. But now so the whole thing has been pay it forward all the way through. And so Brian tells me, he says, hey, we want to present that cast to you out at Squatch Creek. Is that good for you? And I was like, are you kidding? Hell yeah, man, I'm all on for this. And, you know, and honored. So we make a trip over to Squatch Creek, and I wanted to get down there kind of early because if we want to go, I'd like to, hike around and, so we get there, we meet up. I beat them all there. They one coming from up north a ways and Shane from down south way. So we get there and Shane shows me the back in his cargo area. He's got these 20-inch tracks back there that, not the donated ones, just, the ones he had. And they're just like crazy big. You don't know until you're looking at that cast how big it is. And then I walk over and Shane's got it sitting on the back of my truck in a little case. It's got a little toe tag. And you can edit that out, that call. So
right after I edit out all these awkward pauses and us stumbling over each other.
Yeah. So yeah, I get this 20-inch gift track, and it's just all crazy, man. So I get this big track, and now I'm did a little live video with it, and I'm showed pictures of stuff that they haven't posted. It's like, wow. It's like, here you are. You're in the secret now. Let me show you this. Let me show you this. And so we went driving around, going to different locations, and where this picture was taken here, and we walked down in these areas and checking this out, and this happened here. And, and then we get all the way back. And I don't know if it was the last spot, but like I had said, it was the best spot. And we get out of the truck, and we start walking down the road, and when I stepped up on the bridge, and I could see these 3 little dents, and I was like, are those toes? And like Shane said, from there it was like we act like it was landmines. We stepped off in the creek, and bam, there was a second track. Then there was a third one, and we was like, man, we was fist bumping. We'd be hugging if it wasn't for Corona. But it was just like wild, and I got to say this, everything that has happened in the past. I mean, I'm a believer because the Patterson-Gimlin film, that was real. That was real. You can't. I mean, yeah, maybe there was a time before it was all stabilized and stuff that, it didn't really mean much to me. But even before I did research, after they stabilized it, it was real. It was to me, but everything else I'd had happened to me, I can only describe as it had to be a Bigfoot. And then the stuff that I was at when I was deliberately looking for it to happen, could have been a Bigfoot. I believe it was a Bigfoot. I want it to be a Bigfoot because I'm out here doing research. So, but all of it was subjective. But to step off in that creek, it was no longer subjective. I knew what that print belonged to, and that's you can visualize the size of this thing and the few steps it took to get from where that bridge was off, and out of the creek. It is just amazing, and I can't that feeling. I know that a Class A makes you a knower, but seeing them tracks that detailed, man, you're gonna have a hard time convincing me that I ain't a knower. So now there was a little bit more that happened besides this right here that is not really, I don't think, has been elaborated on. But the first track was not noticed for, I don't know, maybe half hour, and it's because it was so subtle that we didn't even see it until we got back up on the bridge and looked down, and there's the print. And you could see it only from up above it. That's when your attention got on it. And then we found another one about 30 feet into the trees, just 2 little divots of the toe, the big toe, the second toe, and a crescent of the heel. In total, so 5 tracks were found, 2 perfect for casting. I mean, the first one was, the perfect shape and stuff like that. But, I mean, it's a good day when you've got 2 casts that you're definitely going to cast. Maybe not the other 3. You know, that's a good day. It's when you're casting like this. And I also want to say that this little step off when I say I noticed them 3 toes. Okay, you know, it's been said that I noticed it first, but I'm going to guarantee you that 2 seconds is about all it would have taken, and every person next to me would have seen them 3 toes. I mean, there was Brian Hewlin, Shane Church, and Renee Woods, and I guarantee you that that was just by happen chance that I even seen them. I mean, hey, I'm a guest in this location, honored to be even, you know, offered, you know, the opportunity to be involved with them over there. But I don't get no pats on the back. That was just, I mean, honestly, them guys right there brought me down there and put Bigfoot in a different light for me. It re-energized me. The stuff that I'm doing I'm still energized and enjoy doing what I'm doing, but that just, you know, it just put a little more spark into it. And the cast, wow. Everybody's, I've had messages from everywhere. They're just saying it's one of the best tracks they've ever seen, you know. The best track out of the South, best track ever. I've heard all kinds of stuff on it, you know. It's impressive. I mean, and like one I haven't seen, but you can't argue with what's going on there. That place is special. Mm-hmm. We got I got to say this too. The Southern Bigfoot Alliance, it says it all right there in their last name, Alliance. You know, and now I almost missed all this. There's a little something bigger that happened, and it started with this benefit, and then it was the donation, and then it was the guys that, you know, had decided to buy this track and then give it to me, and the whole thing just paid it forward all the way to the point that, I mean, I immediately called Tanya Nite, and I was telling her she was going to be all right, because just everything, the way it happened, was all something else is in play here. Some higher powers looking over everything that happened out here. And I just felt that had to be passed on.
Absolutely. It definitely, the whole thing kind of took off, and it was a pay it forward type of thing, and it really made me very, very, very proud of our community, of the Bigfoot community, because we all pulled together for this one person, and it wasn't about egos, it wasn't about pride, it was about showing love and supporting one of our own, and that meant so much to me. Her, of course, but it meant a lot to me to see our community pull together like that, because, you know, there's some things in the community that are not like that are not great. So,
right.
So what are your plans for the future, Michael Waldie, for the future of your research?
Patty cake with Bigfoot.
Awesome. If you could get that on film, that would be great.
Yeah.
No pressure.
Yeah, okay. Well, plans for the future. I'm wanting to do some live stream, but I want to, you know, expand out to where we can live stream the expedition for people that can't really get out there and physically not able to get out and enjoy what we're doing, and to have it right there happen to them on their phones and their TVs real time. And I'm not talking professional. I'm talking my low budget. I can make this happen for my grandma, for, you know, my mom, my dad, for, you know, even the ones that are too scared to get out there, but they can all watch live stream. That's what the encoder's about. That's what this high dollar camcorder was about. So we could put it all on live stream. Ultimately, this setup will also work for the solo hike, so I can go from camera and flip a switch and be thermal goggles, all live stream. But yeah, I want to encompass this whole thing. So if you're at home and enjoying, the pre-recorded videos, that there's nothing that could beat what you don't know what's fixing to happen type of video. Yeah. And the SBA guys, I dang sure want to get out there and try to do some live stream out there with them in that secret location. Squatch Creek.
Top secret location.
Top secret location. GPS coordinates are. No. It is something. And hey, I got to throw this in there too. There's a car that went down the off-road trails and was coming by, and it was just crazy. I grabbed a bin and stuck it in front of that one track, and the guy rolled down the window and was asking what we was doing, and Shay said, "We're casting animal tracks." The guy said, "Would they be abnormally large in the shape of a human foot?" And the lady leaned forward and says, "Yeah, we see tracks down here all the time." It's like, wow.
That's crazy.
Yeah. I mean, that brought it home, It was like,
Yeah.
So,
yeah.
Okay.
That's pretty awesome.
And I'm not thinking about my shirt says Texas Bigfoot Rangers with a silhouette. Just tapping deer tracks down here.
Smooth, Michael. Smooth.
We're still, we got bruised fists from fist bumping, we're just still on our high, not thinking, probably still drooling.
Yeah. Probably so. I mean, that's just awesome. That's not a once in a lifetime thing for SBA, but for the rest of us, that's just, something that you'll remember forever. It's not a common occurrence. So
it is, I got my cherry pop on track. Sorry, Stephen.
Sorry, Stephen.
I don't know if anybody knows this, but if you ever accidentally cuss or say a bad word, anything more than "but," you need to say "sorry, Stephen." There's no cussing around Stephen.
You just have to. Just sorry, Stephen. Like I told him I was going to get a shirt because I can't stop myself. So I'm just going to get a shirt that says "sorry, Stephen," and every time I cuss, I'll just point to it and keep talking.
There ain't a better man than old Stephen Hill. The guy lives by the 10 Commandments.
I know. Yeah, he's just a great guy. Part Squatch, that's why. He's not human. He's just better than us.
That's why I call him Biggie from the Ron Moorhead sound.
Yeah, he's a great guy. He said LOL, by the way. All right. So, thank you so much for coming on tonight, Michael. I just want everyone to know that it has taken me since November 2019 to get this man to come on the show. I know how great he is. You didn't hear that though, Michael. You can just pretend you didn't hear that. Like, we know how great he is, but he doesn't want the world to know. He's a very humble individual, and until he got these tracks, along with everything else that he's done and gathered and heard and experienced, he refused to come on because he did not think he was worthy enough to be a guest on our show or to be a guest on anyone's show. He didn't think that he had anything of value, which we all knew to be wrong. So when he got these tracks, we pounced on it. Well, Dustin pounced on it and asked him if he would finally be a guest on our show. So thank you, Michael. You're a good friend, and we are very happy to have you as a fellow researcher out there fighting the good fight for us and getting out in the woods every single chance that you can.
Definitely.
Well, I appreciate it. And honestly, it was all you had to do was have Dustin there.
Oh, that is so frustrating. I've asked you like 30 times. That is so annoying. You're so mean to me. All right. Anyways, So that was Michael Waldie, everybody. And again, Michael, thank you so much for coming on. We're going to have you back on sometime whenever you get some other monumental evidence that you feel is enough to have a show about. Okay?
Yeah, you know it's coming. Hell, found 5 tracks just the other day.
All right, Steven.
Hey, before we go, promote your group. That way people can come and see your videos and watch your live streams.
Oh, well, hell, I figured everybody knew. Okay, yeah, take the Bigfoot Rangers. It's a private group. If you got stuff you want to share and stuff you want to see, it all stays inside there. So, yeah, come on in. It's a bunch of great people. I usually weed out the trolls and stuff, but it's a good, clean group.
Mm-hmm. Yep. All right. So you guys go follow his Facebook and his group, and he is going to be posting more and more stuff of him going out in the field, also him talking about his tech stuff, and he goes much more into detail on his videos, upcoming videos. So that'll be really handy for all the people who understand what he's talking about. I don't most of the time, but it's cool to watch. And so go check him out and follow Southern Bigfoot Alliance and Texas Bigfoot Rangers as they continue to go out there and gather evidence and report back. All right. So I will talk to you both later. Do what?
Needed Bigfoot Mary on there for her ending. Whoop, whoop, y'all.
I know. I need to just add her ending in there. It's better than Dustin's bye. So I'm going to have her record it and send it to me for sure. All right. So I will talk to you two later, and everyone else will be back next week with a brand new guest. And y'all have a great week. Stay safe. Goodbye, everybody.
See you later.
Bye.
Thank you for listening to Night Bigfoot Radio.